Hello everyone, my name is Melissa Rubianis and I am happy to be able to introduce to you the ancient and lost art form of wheat weaving. Wheat weaving is a traditional art form, a folk art if you will, that is passed on from generation to generation. It isn't something that can be learned in a classroom, although someday I hope to be able to change that. I fell in love with wheat weaving 30 years ago when I was fortunate enough to see another weaver, and she was gracious enough to spend a few hours with me and introduce me to the art form. So this many years later, I'm still in love with wheat weaving. I am passionate about the preservation of this wonderful art form, and that is the inspiration behind creating different types of works of art with this medium. Traditional symbols, harvest symbols, were once woven by primitive farmers. They felt that there was a spirit that lived in the grain, and they called it the corn spirit. So they felt as they harvested their fields, the spirit would retreat into the last still standing bit of grain, and this is what they wove their harvest symbol from. This piece would hang in their home for the entire winter, and they felt it gave the corn spirit a resting place, making it happy, and they also felt that it brought good luck and prosperity to their home and their family. So at the beginning of the new planting season, they would take the harvest symbol and return it to the earth, and they felt this ensured them of yet another good crop. They could be right. So I fell in love with the history, the folklore, and the tradition behind this beautiful art form, and it's my passion to preserve this art form as well, and this is why you're seeing it today. I feel very strongly about sharing this work and educating people about it and teaching as many people as I can to weave. The traditional art symbols and harvest symbols are beautiful, but to be able to create with such a wonderful medium, I can't tell you how pleasing it is for me. I love working with the wheat. It just looks wonderful with all natural elements, with feathers and leather and beads and wood and metals, and anything that comes from this earth is fantastic to work with, especially in putting it together with the wheat. This is what I love. The piece that is before you, Wolf Moon, it was inspired by Native American history, culture, tradition, and most of all, spirit. The piece, for me, encompasses all of the elements: the north, the south, the east, the west, the four corners of the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars. It represents harmony. It represents strength. It represents tradition and ceremony. And this is the piece that you see at the top is representative of a ceremonial pipe, in that I feel it's very important to celebrate everything in life. It's important to celebrate the air that we breathe, the earth that we walk on, Mother Nature, if you will. And it's about coming together as one people. And this is what inspired me for this piece. I hope all of you can capture the spirit as I felt when I created this piece. I'm very proud of it. It encompasses many of the different traditional weaving techniques, such as the 7-straw arrow plait, the 5-straw braid, or flat braid it's called, or flat plait. It also has examples of the Swiss weaving techniques that the Swiss introduced in the early 1800s, which they developed to decorate women's straw hats. They made thread out of straw. Splints of straw have been used to create a beautiful composition. So I hope that you enjoy this piece. I'm very proud of it, and I hope to continue weaving and preserving this art form. The wheat itself is a black-bearded Italian wheat. It's from the durum family of wheat, and it's used mostly in making pastas. But the wheat that I use, and now I am a grower and a supplier of wheat as well, this is part of the preservation of this art form. Without the wheat, we really can't preserve the art form. So this wheat is it's harvested when it's not quite ripe. It's in the dough stage. The wheat is soaked then after it's dried for 3 or 4 hours in hot water, and that's what makes it pliable enough for me to be able to work with it. I just love creating new works of art with this medium. I do enjoy making the traditional harvest symbols, such as the Mordyford of England, or the Arabic cages of the Middle East, the North African fringe that is found mainly along the North African coastline, even the little button favors that were traditional in Scotland and England. They were sometimes known as a courting favor, and they were exchanged between lovers. If one felt the same way the other one did, they each wove one, and they would wear it, and the whole village would know that they were courting. Wheat weaving was such a popular thing that even a young man that came to call on the farmer's daughter for a date would be handed a handful of wet wheat and sent to the parlor. And depending on what he came out with would depend on whether he got a date with the farmer's daughter or not. If he wasn't proficient with this type of thing, which was the thing of the day, then he was not considered suitable for a marriage. So there's a lot of tradition that goes with this wonderful art form, and the folklore and the history I love. And I hope that it inspires you to read a little bit more about it. Do a Google search. There's not a whole lot available about it, but what you can learn is very interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this piece. I certainly enjoy presenting it to you. Thank you.